Hi, I'm Todd Heitkamp, the owner of Dakota Angler here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, with this week's 2-minute fishing report. Well, folks, this week has been pretty good, and do I need to say any more? Mike's won. Hey, we'll take it. That's one. That's all we need right now. No, we won't go any further. So don't worry about my sports things. We'll continue to talk about fishing throughout this report. Well, the big story this week has been, other than the Vikings winning, I said I wasn't going to say that, has been the perch bite. The perch bite has been picking up around much of the area this week, and that really has been the story. Some of the lakes that have been producing perch up in the northeast include Indian Springs, Big Stone, Reed, a little bit at Waubay. And then in the southeast, that's really where it's been taken off, has been Ponset, Dry Lake by Willow Lake, Sinai, Twin, Beaver, Scott Slough, Twin, and also Madison. All have been producing really nice perch of late. And what have they been using? A lot of small minnows, small pieces of crawler, and waxworm have been the ticket. And then as far as the walleye bite is concerned, guys are still catching walleyes, and probably the bite's going to get even better with the cooler water temperatures out there. Up in the northeast, those lakes that have been producing walleyes this past week include Bitter, Reed, Waubay, Indian Springs, Opitz, as well as Enemy Swim. Down in the southeastern part of the state, the lakes include Dry by Willow, again, by also Ponset, Sinai, 81 Ponds, as well as a few at Thompson, Brant, Vermilion, and Oakwood. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention Madison and Beaver have all been producing some nice walleyes of late as well. And what have they been mainly using? A lot of spinners with crawlers and minnows. That seems to be really the target right now, has been using those spinners, and we have plenty of them on hand here. Also, jigs and twister tails are starting to come back now, and catching a few nice walleyes around the area using that technique. And then the crappie bite finally has been so-so throughout the summer, and it's starting to pick up a little bit. Ponset, Thompson, and Vermilion have been the three lakes that have been producing the most crappie of late, and the main thing they've been using has been small minnows. In this week's version of Todd's Tackle Tips, folks, we're going to talk about slipbobber fishing, and we've talked about it before, but with the ongoing and increasing perch bite, I think a lot of people are going to be wanting to use this type of technique to go out there and catch those perch, especially if you have kids. Now, when we talk about bobber fishing, a lot of people think about the old red and white bobber, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, you can only reel up so far, and for a child that's trying to land that fish, that becomes frustrating because there's so much line that's beneath that bobber. So a slip bobber is the answer to that problem. The way you can do that is all you need is a slip bobber, some stop knots, a weight, and then your jig or your hook. And all you want to do is you want to put this bobber at the depth that you want that jig to be at. So the way that you can do it is first you slide this the line through the stop knot, through the tube. Slide the line off that tube and then tighten the stop knot to the line. Then put the bead and then put the bobber and then tie your hook. And now your arm length is approximately the depth, is your height. So for me, it's about 6 foot. So if I put that stop knot at 6 foot deep, 6 foot up the line, it's going to be at 6 foot deep. So that will allow you to adjust if necessary. If your bobber is lying flat on the water like this, sideways, that tells you right away that the jig is on the bottom. And so you want to slide that stop knot down further to allow that bobber to stand straight up, and that's what you want. And the nice thing about this, folks, is that when that child sets that hook on that fish, and you reel up, he can reel up all the way down to the hook, so he's not going to have to reach, or he or she is not going to have to reach down to catch that fish and pull that fish into the boat. It makes it a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable if you use the slip bobber. Now, folks, it's time to take a look at a few photos that you sent in to me this past week. And remember, if you'd like your photo included in next week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report, please send it to me. Send it to todd@dakotaangler.com or post it to our Facebook wall. And if I use your photo, your name will be entered into a monthly drawing for a $25 gift certificate. And as always, folks, I have something to say before we end this week's report. First off, again, I want to remind you of the ongoing sale that we have for all of our open water equipment, such as combos, rods, nets, tackle boxes, you name it. Stop on by and check out the great selection that still remains. And so don't miss out. Don't wait before it's too late. Okay, and then the other thing I want to remind you of is the Dakota Angler Ice Institute, the 8th annual, November 4th and 5th. And I'm going to, as I've been saying week after week, I'm going to remind you this for quite a while because I want you to mark your calendar and I don't want you to miss out. This is one of the premier ice fishing events here in the upper Midwest. And how has it become that? With your attendance, and I greatly appreciate it. So again, mark your calendar. We're going to have great food, great vendors, great deals, and probably the best deals that you're ever going to find around here, and also just a great time. So mark your calendars, the 8th annual Dakota Angler Ice Institute, November 4th and 5th here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Well, folks, that's this week's version of the 2-Minute Fishing Report. For Dakota Angler, I'm the owner, Todd Heitkamp, and as we say around here, fish on. We'll see you next time, and again, thanks for watching.